Yes, now the amount of money that each person that is involved in this claim is going to get depends on their particular role, but the settlement amount is for $450,000 is what they were agreed to. Now, when you take away all the fees, it's a little bit closer to $316,500, but that is still a pretty piece of change. So what happened? Well, let's break it down. King County Superior Court signed off on a settlement order that will see Pyramid Brewing pay $450,000 to employees, both current and former, affected by the alleged wage abuse between the dates of April 2014 and December 2018. 3 employees filed the lawsuit against Pyramid Brewing back in 2018 with the help of Fair Work Center. Now, among the claims that they made against Pyramid, they said that Pyramid did not allow them to have proper meal or bathroom breaks. They also say that Pyramid conducted what's called time shaving, which is basically adjusting the time card after the hours of work had already been completed. And they also say that Pyramid did not properly pay them for overtime hours. As is common with most settlements, Pyramid is not admitting any guilt or wrongdoing to these allegations made against them. When breaking down the settlement amounts, this is how it goes. From $450,000, $112,500 of that is reserved for attorney fees. That's 25% of the settlement. Another $12,000 is reserved for settlement administrators and class counsel fees. And then another $9,000 is reserved for the 3 people who put their name on the case. That leaves $316,500 for the rest. Pyramid will also be required to do extra training to make sure that their workers know when they're working, they need to be on the clock. The remaining $316,000 will be divided among the 303 class members, and that includes the 3 named plaintiffs in the case. Now, it'll be based on time of length worked and estimated number of hours not paid by Pyramid. Lawyers say that the average will be about $1,000 per person, but in some cases, someone could receive as much as $9,800.